Folks,
right.
I know I'm getting a few parts late into this, but I want to apologize and make up for a little folly I made back in the beginning.
What's that?
Oh? Oh, no, you did that at the beginning.
Yes, I did, but I did it so poorly.
Oh, that is fair.
This is his redemption arc.
My oil tune-up wasn't done around the time. It was a literal grade school performance.
It's on the last.
And also making up for the fact that Logan himself, the guy that made up that whole joke in the first place, forgot to in the beginning.
I know. You know what? I genuinely did. I was in the middle of talking about this stuff, and I should have. But I will say, fine. We'll say that at that moment, that was the part where that Samus, at like the 11th of these that she's having to kill now, she's like, "Oh shit! Did I forget to lock the car?"
one of the fucking Metroids literally hijacks it and escapes.
It's like, oh no.
Oh shit.
But no, it's just I just like imagine like she just clicks her little beep and you just hear muffled. Okay, the alarm's set.
Okay. Anyway, welcome back to Samus Returns, everybody.
Welcome to Samus Returns. We got the gravity suit. We got the freaking space jump and the spin attack. But as you're noticing, they're already introducing more enemies that can resist the spin attack. The screw attack. But as you're noticing here, again, we are fully immune to lava now. These Magmor sections really pose no threat to us anymore.
They just look pretty.
But these beta Metroids I still despise.
Oh yeah, the beta Metroids are honestly the most annoying in my opinion.
And I can confirm the beta Metroids are the only ones that can run away to other rooms. The Gammas and the Deltas will at least, freaking nut up and fight you.
I mean, they're too big to crawl through those tight spaces anyway.
Oh, now that is also a good function. Jeez, that thing's fast. Die.
Do you mind?
Jeez, that thing's fast. Die.
Yes. That is how... Matt, stop reading my copy of the script. It really destroys the illusion of what we're doing here.
You asshole.
Take fight!
Play overused tune. It's just on a tape recorder.
Make overused joke.
Oh, I can't do it! And the joke is that in and of itself, our SpongeBob references are already... Do you get it? We're gonna move forward now and fight another one of these bastards.
How far deep have we gotten to the planet by now?
We are like... I think, genuinely, we are either at the very bottom, like, because there's this funny part coming up where eventually the elevators start going back up again. Like, you've gone to, like, the literal rock bottom, and you're like, okay, we gotta climb back up now. Because this map does kind of function as a full circle. You're literally drilling around this chunk of the planet. Which, now I think about it, that is actually very interesting how, like, if you think about it, as far as, like, horizontal... Whoa. As far as like horizontal movement is concerned, you really aren't exploring an entire planet. At least it doesn't feel like it. It feels like you're just exploring like one island of a planet. Like, imagine if they actually did try to do like a whole like Sonic, like like a whole like Mario Odyssey kind of like adventure where Samus was traveling through all parts of the planet.
I mean, granted, for all we know, maybe it's not that big of a planet.
I mean, it could be like the moon of Dagobah or something.
It could be. We technically never do get an official measurement for how deep those elevator shafts go.
I mean, if the whole planet was able to... You know what, I'll say that for Fusion, because that's technically a spoiler.
Fair enough.
I want to ask, like, since we made the joke about, like, how much deeper into the planet we're going, wouldn't that be something if for a future Metroid game we get to a point where we literally travel into, like, the core of a planet, like the molten core?
I mean, now that we have the gravity suit, I'm sure that's completely possible.
Yeah.
We could do that. It would
actually. Who's to say we weren't there already?
I think I see where you're going with this, and because since it'd be like the very center of gravity, it would actually be really cool if we got like maybe in Dread or some other point, if there was actually a level that, imagine Mario Galaxy like mechanics, but in 2D, where you're basically like you see Samus on a circle and she can actually walk fully around the circle, like because it's at like a center point of gravity. That she literally is just kind of like walking along the walls of it.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, yes, you are noticing it here. Samus is officially in no fucks given mode.
Yep, I can charge through everything. Charge up my laser. Yeah, just charge up your laser beam, and I'm now just freaking bowl and china shop moving forward, crashing through everything that looks at me funny. Oh, hang on, but there's something up here I want to go to, but be mindful of the explodey bugs. They still do a good amount of damage. Goodness, I took a full tank off. Oh, there we go.
I know there's one, I forget if it was either a missile tank or a energy tank or what have you. I think it might have been back in the that whole ruins area we were at earlier, but which is surrounded by a whole bunch. It's like this whole passageway that's very narrow and surrounded by all those red thorns, and yet it's like next to impossible to navigate through without realizing without self-learning a certain exploit that the game has.
Yeah.
Oh, the bomb jump?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I forget what it was exactly, but I just remember being that one case where I need to look up a guide in order to figure it out.
There you go.
And I think that was like the last item I was missing until before I, 100%ed it.
The game definitely rewards...
Oh boy.
The game does reward... I think the game is definitely fun for veterans, I think. Again, it's just the whole counter mechanic that can be a little bit of a blessing and a curse in terms of its over-reliance. Get it down here.
And again, it is nice to see that Dread for what it's worth as, it's still there, but it does have some nice little alternative solutions.
I'm very much looking forward to that game.
Like being able to literally run and just uppercuts to the small fry into oblivion.
Yeah.
If it hasn't already been stated, I mean, I'm looking forward to how that game's going to turn out.
I think we all are.
I think we all are.
Well, all that are interested in Metroid anyway.
I think the series needed something like this. It's been so long, and something to really just
revitalize.
I mean, the crazy part is that this is a name that's been more or less known in the community for a decade.
Yeah, it literally became like it's Half-Life 3 kind of scenario.
And it's finally happening.
Yeah.
Now there's still the matter of if it'll still be good or not, but granted, given this is from the same people that made this game, and this game turned out really fucking good.
And it's already looking very promising, even from just the beta demo, whatever.
The
test
data
footage.
demo.
Yes, I'll call it that.
You could definitely argue that maybe they're showing off a little too much at this point in time as this recording, but I mean, I'd be as much of an eager beaver about this whole game being a thing.
I feel like the only way I can let it get away with that is if it's something akin to Mario Odyssey, where it left the really big surprises out of the trailers.
Which I think that's what they're doing. It definitely feels like that anyway.
I mean, there's definitely no dialogue that's happening between them, aside from the one thing Adam says near the beginning.
Which again, I wonder if that means it's going to be actually fully voice acted the whole time, or just in that cutscene. Because they will be bringing that back from Fusion, where there'll be moments where you can debrief and talk to Adam.
I mean, other M's method of doing so aside, I don't think the 2D Metroid games, especially in the caliber of this, I don't think having voice acting in it would be a bad thing.
That's fair.
It feels fitting enough.
Just haven't been limited enough. I'm honestly surprised Metroid Prime never did anything like. I don't think Metroid Prime did.
Prime 3 did.
There were some.
Prime 3 did.
That's right, because I forgot. Yeah, there are some sequences where there are.
Yeah, Admiral Dane had a few speaking lines.
Yeah, gotta go after him. Gotta run away. I only have 2 of you left to fight. At least until clear this place out. Then yeah, if you already look at that now.
Realized we're 8 Metroids left.
Yep.
Yeah, we're already down to. They really went. There we go.
We've come so far, and all it took was us yapping on about Hanna-Barbera stuff and car alarms.
It's, I mean,
and the
that
thing.
they always, and the thing.
Which
they always I mean, that is something that they have to still, I think, keep to stay true to a Metroid, is that it's something that, speedrunners love these kind of games, so it's gotta be a game that, can be completed quickly if you know how to play it well.
Mm-hmm.
I think this may actually, I don't know if I talked about this, I think this may be one of the first games that, rewarded you for fast, in the terms of the series. I think the first Metroid game may be one of the first times where it actually, actively rewarded you for clearing it in a certain amount of time.
Wait, the first Metroid? Because
not necessarily, because Fusion definitely did that.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I'm trying to...
sorry, I meant, I think this franchise, starting with Metroid 1 on the NES, I think this may be the first game that, actively encouraged fast, and actually, specifically rewarded you for... I'm saying, because the game was not, in the sense of, the game is not really built... It's not... How to put it? Sonic, of course, you're gonna go fast. That's literally the name of the game. That's
unless
what you
it's
do.
the first game.
that's the first game. But like with like Metroid, like you would not look at Metroid and immediately think I should be doing this as fast as possible. But there is a reward if you do try to like optimize it to such a point where you're doing it as fast.
Well,
as
I think in
possible.
terms of the first Metroid, it's a little hard to swallow because of how just slow and clunky the original Metroid is.
Fair. Super Metroid definitely was like what really big. Like that was like where this whole thing peaked. Many people would argue.
Yeah.
There it is. All right.
Oop.
Like, the first
Last
game
Metroid for
is
this place.
incredibly popular. Yeah, it was incredibly popular for its time, yes. But, come on, Super Metroid.
I think I do think Super Metroid is probably one of the best, like most well-received Metroid games.
Oh, easily.
Now, whether or not Dread will be able to dethrone that, not sure. I remember Fusion was still kind of a mixed bag because of some of the things they changed.
I hear, from what I understand, most people tend to generally enjoy Fusion. They're just not a big fan of how linear it is by comparison.
Yeah.
That's true.
Even then, I don't tend to hear that as like a very like big critique against it. It's just something you kind of. It's just different. That's really it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Otherwise, it's still,
Last Metroid
it still provides the same high
This
octane,
area.
explorative and shooting gimmicks that the series is known for.
Right.
I think in the case of Fusion, it's like they're able to make up for the linearity with just the sheer, like, maybe not sheer, but with like the horror like aspects to it, you know, like with the SAX armor and whatnot.
Yeah.
True. And I think
I mean, the most I tend
well.
to hear regarding like any real negatives with the most recent Metroid games is more so in its 100% requirements. Namely, how there's a good handful of these collectibles you can only really get during like the quote unquote post game.
Well, yeah, especially like definitely with this part here, and it's a little unfortunate because again they do still grade you based on your item collection rate and how fast you did it in.
Yeah.
That's
So there we go.
Metroids left to kill.
And I guess it's worth noting, you can actually deposit these DNA things at any time. I just figure,
Yeah.
you know, why would you unless you have all of them already?
Right.
Nothing's gonna happen.
And all those
unless you have
Metroids are going to be along the way anyway.
Right. So, yeah. And I believe if you do that, that little part, that like pod thingy there that tells you how much DNA is left, that does actually function as both an energy and weapon refill station. So like, if you're like in real like danger and you can't read your map properly to know where the energy and ammo refills are, you can always just pop there for a full heal, full restore. Oh no, die.
Seriously.
Matt, it's been a little while. We'll say, what were your thoughts on this? We may have already talked about during the Zero Mission. Crap. This that at one point we were almost going to get a Metroid TV show in the same style as Mario, in a similar vein as how Mario and Zelda got one. We almost got a Metroid TV show.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong.
I don't even remember that.
It was gonna be. I'll look it up again.
I think they did as like kind of like.
Oh wait! Never mind. I remember what you're talking about now. It was actually going to star a fucking male protagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Failing to recognize that the game ended off on a twist that Samus was a woman.
Yeah.
It genuinely was. It was one of those unfortunate moments where you could easily tell that the people who came up with the pitch did not actually beat the game themselves.
Yeah. They just stuck with whatever was in the instruction manual. Though, funny thing about that though is that I know like the comic adaptation of Captain N would feature Samus here and there, and well, they did get it correct that Samus is a woman.
Yep.
But I mean, even looking at the concept art, like looking at how they designed the space pirates, like it looked neat. It almost had like an Inhumanoids kind of like art style to it, where it wouldn't have been like all goofy. No, Inhumanoids. You never heard that show?
No, actually, I've never have.
Well, we can talk about that later because we got another lore dump coming up.
All right, lore. So after they created the Metroids, they sent them off for hunting.
Fresh meat.
And yeah, no, and as far as it is, the Metroids did their job.
Take out.
And as it worked, the Metroids worked perfectly, right according to design.
Right?
They worked very well.
If
If not, yeah, as you can no doubt tell by how they were starting to eat up not just the X parasites, but also some of the regular denizens of the planet.
More food. More food.
This was it, James. This is the lowest part of the planet.
Oh, jeez, you can even. I don't even have to look at it for a few minutes to imagine how bad it has to smell down there.
You know
Too much
what?
purple
I just
gunk
thought.
and rotten bones and.
I just thought of something to tie back to the Jellystone tangent. The Metroids
boy.
are basically similar to that episode where Yogi had that nuclear stomach.
That was like the first episode, actually.
It was. Oh,
He just ate everything and never got full. And then he realized
that-
how much of a monster he was in doing so.
Who knew?
And then there's
And
the
also, yes,
episode
Matt.
where Cindy turns everybody into Jello.
Yeah, I don't understand what her nervous breakdown was about.
Well,
that for.
basically,
Ma-
it started with her like fearing that she didn't have enough time in the day to do stuff. So she thought, "Oh, I can make more time in the day by turning everyone into Jello, so I can be able to have enough time to do my things."
And then she doesn't
There's a
know how to turn them back.
There was a strong argument to be made somewhere in her logic, but then somewhere it just kind of fell off the rails.
Now hold still.
I don't understand. Like, it's like, I know I can make more time in the day by turning people into Jello. I'm like,
Basically,
there's
what
a
happens...
there's a solid gear turn in somewhere. I just don't know that's the right gear.
Look, I'm operating on about like 72 hours without
just one again.
sleep.
Really?
Okay, let's go. Away. Continue.
If there was one thing I remember from that episode, it's like the one other time, say for like one other cameo, that Ranger Smith appears.
Yeah.
I completely
and apparently
forgot
he's-
that
he's-
Ranger Smith is, like, not in the show.
Well,
So
he
they do
technically
acknowledge that
is in the
was-
show. He barely appears, though, is the thing. Like, he
Yeah.
appeared once to prove that, to show that he was actually the one running the hospital that the Bears were working at.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could briefly see him in the episode where they were trying to make that whole, Yogi was trying to film that one,
Oh,
movie
right.
he was trying to make.
Right, like, that started off as like an advertisement for Jellystone, then it turned into like some big budget anime movie.
Oh, yeah, I remember
Yes.
that.
So,
Let's put out the anime filter!
let's try it out. And they actually got actual Japanese. It was so good. Anyway, Matt.
Yogi's
Why
like,
they
So
taking
in-
so long?
So in Humanoids, Matt, was another Hasbro toy thing, and it had its own TV show, a la Transformers and GI Joe. I want to say one of the. Uh-oh.
Wait a second. What's going on?
That's another item, and
Yoink!
God damn it! What
I
I
can't
call
believe
him?
I can't believe I'm saying this. Kirby ate the Chozo statue.
What the hell did I call him? Did I call him Steven? Did I call him
No.
Charlie?
Charlie, that's...
Charlie!
You know, now that you make that, now I'm just imagining, like not even just in terms of, like, Smash, where he copies, like, Metroid characters. I'm just thinking, like, Kirby in this universe, because it is technically canon that they share the same universe, like Dreamland 3 confirms that.
Kinda. I guess it's, like, canon, kind of, in one universe it's canon. In the other, it's not.
So you could just say that Samus transcended universes for one game.
Alright, there's our Metroid Husk. But yes, in Humanoids, I want to say actually one of them was voiced by, they had the actor who played Cobra Commander and stuff on it as well.
Ooh,
It was a very decent, very creepy show. Like, look it up, and the only other thing I can find is that in Humanoids did actually have a Easter egg like cameo in an IDW comic.
not surprised, since IDW works closely with Hasbro.
Yeah, it was it was a mini series called ROM Dire Race.
Oh, ROM! ROM! I love ROM. Sorry.
So yeah, they had a mini series IDW did last year. Oh jeez.
Hello there.
They had a mini series and some of the Inhumanoids appeared in it.
Have you ever heard of ROM, by the way, Logan?
No. The only one I know is Rom the Vacuous Spider, which is from Bloodborne.
Would you
not
like to
entirely.
hear about ROM Space Knight?
Yeah, sure. Tell me about Rom Space Fight, since it actually does feel like it's very pertinent now to what's going on here.
ROM Space
Wrong
Knight.
end.
Wrong way, stupid.
ROM,
working on it.
ROM Space Knight is a character from the. He is a toy line made in the 70s to capitalize on the big space craze that Star Wars.
That you're seeing right now play out throughout your very eyes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So ROM was pretty. It was a pretty okay toy. However, Parker Brothers owned the license at the time, and basically what they wanted to do was sell the rights to a comic, you know, to produce a story and all that. And so they sold the rights to Marvel. Marvel, instead of just like any company that gets like toy rights and stuff like that, whenever they make comics about it, they usually just go, "Oh, we'll just do like a little side comic and all that. That's it." Marvel integrated
happened?
ROM and his
So,
world.
real quick, Matt. So what just happened there is we drained the lava, but we also filled up the portion we just came back from, so we're actually stuck now.
How does that
Huh.
work? Like, how do you drain up?
It drained. No, in the sense of it drained like horizontally. It drained from the pool to our right to the pool on our left,
Oh, okay.
and the pool to our left was how we got out of here. So, unfortunately, we actually have to go. We have to spend a little longer in this area. Once again, one Metroid is not all it takes. In fact,
Articles.
it's actually about to get a lot harder. Which I'll have to unfortunately wait until the next part. But before we end this part, since we have a little bit longer, Matt, continue your thing on ROM because we have one other big boy to hunt next time.
It's
Go
actually
ahead.
a lot of
Finish your thing with
information, so I'll tell you not in this.
Okay. Just look up ROM and look up ROM Dire Wraiths, which is an
Basically,
IDW miniseries from 2020.
to put it very simply, ROM Space Knight was a Marvel comic for a very long time. The comic became even more popular than the toy, and also the fact that a lot of stuff that happened in the ROM Space Knight comics became fucking common staples in the Marvel universe. Like Rogue of the X-Men was originally a villain.
Mm-hmm.
In a meeting with ROM Space Knight, that is how she turned into a good guy.
Wow. I will and I will say and somehow the Inhumanoids live on in that, so maybe we'll see more of those creepy freaking demon monster things later. Anyway, stay tuned for the next part as we have one other Metroid to hunt. How hard can that be?
You may be in for a surprise.
The answer is very,